Good morning, students. As updated in the last lecture, we'll first be covering Unit 5 and then we'll come back to Unit 4. So, Unit 5 talks about wage board pay commission and also compensation in MNCs. So, in today's lecture, we'll be covering wage board and pay commission. So, let's get started. First, a few terms. Minimum wages. So, minimum wage is the lowest wage permitted by law or by special agreement. So, this has to be paid to employees or laborers, the minimum wage which is permitted by law. Then the next term is fair wages. So, fair wages are minimum wages. They are again the least that is required to be paid and that is reasonable to be paid for specific occupations. Okay. So what is the general payment for a certain skill set and certain kind of occupation? So that is fair wage. Living wage. So a living wage is the amount of money that it takes to meet the basic needs. So basic needs like food, shelter, so this is anyway there. But also basic needs which include leading a decent life without depending upon government assistance to survive. So that is living wage. That wage which only helps to satisfy biological need of food and shelter, that is called subsistence wage. Okay. Then there are two other terms, pay scale and pay band. So a pay scale, it means the different levels of pay for a particular job. Generally this is for government jobs. And different levels of pay depending upon the degrees of skill. So higher the skill, you are in the higher pay scale. So it is like that. There is also this concept called pay band, which is sometimes used to define the range of compensation given for certain roles. So when they define a range, there's a lower limit, there's an upper limit. So within that, they might define different scales. So that is called a pay band, and that makes it more defined for every role. So if a person is working as a receptionist, so maybe there is a lowest pay in the pay band and there is the highest max that can be paid to a receptionist, and within that there may be different scales or different ranges that are adjusted. Okay, so moving on, let's first start with some short notes. The first one is the short note on wage board. So see students, we have seen that there are a number of legislations to protect the laborers, various legal legislations, and specific to wages, there were laws like Minimum Wages Act, Payment of Wages Act, and so on. But besides this, there is also something called the wage board. So we'll try to understand what a wage board is. So a wage board is a tripartite body. Tripartite means there are three different parts to this wage board. Okay, three different groups who form the wage board. So a wage board is a tripartite body with representatives from management, workmen, and also persons nominated by government. Independent persons nominated by government. So you have the employer, employees, and impartial representative from the government. A wage board is established to tackle the disputes relating to employers and employees, and is generally set up by Government of India for fixation and revision of salary across different industries. So for textile industry, what could be the fair wage, what could be the reasonable wage to be paid to people. So all these decisions are arrived at when all these three parties sit together and come to a conclusion. So please note, a wage board is a statutory body, that is, it is legally recognized body, but there is no central act. So like your Minimum Wages Act, Payment of Wages Act, there is no act which talks about wage board. So it's a statutory body, but there is no central act that contains provision for setting up a wage board. They are set up by a resolution by the government, and they come to an end with the submission of their reports. So it is more like a committee that is formed for discussion, and once they submit their report, wage board, that particular wage board comes to an end. Okay, so now let's understand some bit of history about wage board. So way back in the 1930s, the Royal Commission on Labour in India had recommended the setting up of such tripartite body in Indian industries, more to ensure that there is smooth discussion between employees and employer, and they come to a fair conclusion in terms of wages, working conditions, and so on. However, the wage board actually came into existence during the first 5-year plan, and it was first set up for cotton, textile and sugar industries in 1957. And since then, almost 24 wage boards have been set up, and they have covered major industries like textile and sugar, we already spoke about, then cement, journalist, jute, tea, coffee, rubber plantation, iron ore, metal, iron and steel, engineering, port, leather, limestone, and so on. Specifically in 1985, 3 wage boards were constituted, and one was for journalist, working journalist, one was for non-working journalist, and the third one for sugar industry again. Now, what are the objectives of setting up these wage boards? So one is obvious: to work out is wage structure based on principles of fair wages as formulated by the Committee on Fair Wages. Then to work out a system of payment by results. So based on output, what kind of payment should be made to workers in that particular industry. Then to evolve a wage structure based on the requirement of social justice. So again, when we talk about fairness, and when we talk about the need for a minimum wage and living wage, so it's all part of social justice that is ensured for laborers and employees. And to evolve a wage structure based on the need for adjusting wage differentials in a manner so as to provide incentives to workers for advancing their skills. So even in the industry, the wage structure should be such that people are motivated to improve their skills, because they know once they improve their skills and they are able to show that on productivity, their wages are likely to go up. These are some of the basic objectives. And what functions do the wage board perform? So wage board, they function industry wise. So we already discussed so many industries have been covered under wage boards, and they will give recommendations for minimum wages, differential cost of living compensation. So this DA component that we talk about, so they will give recommendation on that. So region wise differentials, gratuity, hours of pay. So all the things that are important they talk about, and they come to a conclusion. They are required to determine which categories of employees are to be brought in the scope of wage fixation. So whether manual employees or clerical employees or supervisory employees, who all should be brought under wage fixation. About whom they will discuss, so that is something they discuss. They work out wage structure based on the principles of fair wages, and they also suggest a system of payment by wages. So we already spoke about these 2 points in the objectives. And they work out principles that should govern. I mean, there are clear directions given for each industry what should govern giving of bonus or incentives to workers. So basically, this is what a wage board is all about. Moving on, the next topic would be on pay commissions. So pay commission is an administrative system that the government of India sets up to determine the salaries of government employees. So pay commission is an important body. It is something similar to wage board, and it is set up to study the current salaries of government employees and also give recommendations. And why is it required? So as we know, over the years, the prices of items have gone up, and inflation has also gone up. So if the government employees draw the same fixed amount of salary, they won't be able to afford or sustain themselves with the increasing prices. So from time to time, pay commissions have been set up to bring about revision in the salary to meet the current market rates, or to tackle the inflation in the market, and also to ensure that whatever is paid to government employees, somewhere there is parity between government and private sector, and also to make the government jobs attractive. That is why mainly pay commissions are set up. The first pay commission in India was actually set up before independence in 1946 under the chairmanship of Srinivas Bhattacharya. And since independence, 7 pay commissions have been set up on regular basis to review and make recommendations on the work and pay structure of civil and military divisions also. All these fall under Government of India, right? The pay commission comes under the Department of Expenditure, which falls under the Ministry of Finance, and it is headquartered in Delhi. Usually a commission is formed and it is given 8 months to submit its recommendations. So the various pay commissions so far have been in 1946, and the highlight was the mandate of the first pay commission was to examine and recommend emolument structure of civilian employees. So how the pay has to be structured and what has to be implemented. So that was a mandate of the first pay commission. The second pay commission, which was formed in 1957, it stated that the pay structure and the working conditions of government employees should be crafted in such a way so as to ensure efficient functioning of system, and also to ensure that they are able to recruit people with minimum qualification as required for the role. The next pay commission was set up in 1973, and this was a very important pay commission, and it included very important concepts like inclusiveness, comprehensibility and adequacy for pay structure. So comprehensibility is like, at least giving good coverage and enough pay and everybody being included in the pay commission and so on. So it also stated that the true test is to know whether the services are attractive and it retains good people. So this can be tested only if people are satisfied by the pay they are receiving. In 1983, the next pay commission was introduced, and it introduced something called the rank pay concept. However, the Supreme Court declared that illegal, and this was not implemented or taken forward. In 1994, the fifth pay commission was introduced. This was another controversial pay commission, and it disturbed the financial situation of both state and central government and led to a huge hue and cry after its implementation. So this was implemented. Salaries were hiked for 3.3 million central government employees, and also it recommended hikes for state government employees also. So, and the one more thing that it's talked about is cutting down on workforce by 30%. So this was highly controversial and criticized by World Bank and major organizations across. In 2006, the sixth pay commission was formed, and it mainly focused on removing ambiguity in respect of various pay scales and focused on reducing number of pay scales, and it brought about the idea of pay bands. So for different roles, pay bands were recommended, and the pay scales which were like ranging, and there was no defined upper or lower limit. So it was the ambiguity, it moved from pay scales to the idea of pay band. And in 2013, the 7th pay commission, or the latest pay commission, was formed, Its recommendations, of course, were, in 2016, quite a few of its recommendations were accepted. It recommended almost 14% increase in salary. So this was also reviewed and accepted. And the hike in DA has also been increased by 4% from 17 to 21%. So this has also been approved. This was effectively to be implemented starting 2020 March, but there is a delay. So there are plenty of recommendations in the 7th Pay Commission as well, and most of them have been accepted and in the process of getting implemented. Okay, students. So the next lecture will talk about compensation in multinationals. Thank you so much.